let's say, an angry fight with somebody, but they're not anymore there, and you want to meditate. But still the anger is there, it's part of you, it's running through the blood, running through the system, the thoughts are there, the whole engagement is there. And here comes a big, just let it go. Yeah. So what the instruction would seem to be is to create a split between you and it, between what's happening in your universe, one aspect of it, which is you're totally absorbed in, it's one, this fight, and to separate, let it go and be somewhere else. And that's kind of, can be kind of really annoying as a meditative movement if it's taken like that. I can't let it go, it doesn't get off. You know, it's sticking to me, or I let it go here and it comes up here, or it comes around here, or it hits me from behind. It's, how do I let go? But at the same time, it's coming out of a split, this need to let go, because something is held in your energy. But it's not, maybe it's not held enough. Something is frozen. So in a way, the command to let go is much more to let it be transforming, to let it move, to let it be alive. Because if it's not alive and not totally allowed to be as part of your universe, it's not going to transform. It's not going to move, it's not going to evolve, it's not going to resolve. Which is the opposite of saying, let go, I'm not going to think about that anymore, I'm not going to engage, I'm going to put a block, which in a way creates baggage for later, in another form. Also, when we want to let go of something, like, for example, our anger with a parent, we want to let it go. We try and find it in order to let it go, and often we end up chasing it. We can't find it in order to let it go, because it is moving all the time. We can start a chasing game. And in that chasing game of finding that which we want to let go of in the first place, we're already building more structures. I want to let go of my anger, it's a structure, it's a label. You want to let go also of your love. I want to let go of my, because this, and this, and this. But you also want to let go of the whole story, the precious side of it, the learning in it. So, also in the let go, there tends to be a subliminal rejection of the bits we don't want, while keeping the bits we do want, but they're not separable. We want to let go of our pain, but not of our joy. We want to let go of our anger towards our parent, but we don't want to let go of our parent, we can't. Not the love, not the basis of who we are. So, what's the depth of this letting go business? What's the core of it, if we can reframe it? It's deeply connected with surrender. You could reframe it as surrendering to what is happening in any moment of meditation. Allowing totally what is, and surrendering to the evolution or transformation of what is. But again, we have this thing, who is surrendering? What's surrendering? What is surrendered? Who surrenders to what? Who is able to surrender? And who is this one that's able to surrender? What is it ultimately surrendering to? Let's say we have a feeling of senselessness, of boredom. And it's there all the time, and you go inside yourself and you can meet areas of love and exploration and have some experiences, but to a certain stage you hit this kind of deadness, of boredom. So, as long as we have a deep conception that this boredom is a thing separate from ourselves, that we want to be free of, an agenda, surrendering to it is practically impossible. Because it's not receptive like that. It's a wall, it's a concept, it's going to follow us even with the movement of surrender. There'll be a boredom in the background of the one that is surrendering. If we have a little bit of reprogramming to see that this boredom is made of exactly the same thing as excitement, that it's of us, that we're at the essence of it, at a place where it's no longer even called boredom, then surrender is much more possible. It's like moving through a cloud. The cloud is there, but the air that you were breathing before you went into the cloud is still breathable inside the cloud. And it's the same on the other side. You surrender. So in a way, we're surrendering. That which surrenders is surrendering to itself, unconditionally to the weather, unconditionally to conditions. It's funny how the unconditional is unconditional to conditions, but to the conditions of time and space. And if boredom reveals a cause, we can surrender to the cause of the boredom. It's already transforming, and it's already showing a different a movement. Loneliness is the same. If loneliness is separate from who we are, it's other, it's what has to be avoided, what can't be tolerated, then it's a frozen enemy in a way, which now and again catches us maybe from behind. If we believe in its otherness from who we are, the movement of surrender to it is practically impossible. It's like the donkey with the carrot. It moves with the movement. If we find ourselves in the loneliness, the same self that's in the non-loneliness, that's in the joy and togetherness and connectedness, then a movement is possible. Also a passing in and out, a passing through, but also just a being in it. It's already not the same because we're in it. It loses that horrible sting of loneliness, which is selflessness, as if there is no one there. How can there be no one there if we're there? If we're in it? Already that sting of vacuous lack is taken out of the felt experience. So the third stage of the letting go to surrender, the third way to reframe it would be in terms of freedom. Surrender and letting go has a lot of baggage in its instructions, but the promise of freedom, of opening the freedom which is always here, is much stronger. In a way, with every movement, why would you want to let something go if not to become free? That's the whole principle. You get rid of the crap because of the freedom. But freedom isn't something which, and this is again the classical framework that our minds tend to put freedom in a opposite, in a polarity with the stuff we don't like, or which is uncomfortable. So, is it possible to be free and in a body? Is it possible to be free and at the same time be suffering? Is it possible to be free and to be in prison? Are we still free even when we're angry? Even if we don't know how to do other than to move with the anger or to feel the anger, is the freedom still there? It's not an either or. The freedom's all. The real, truest freedom is the freedom which is allowed to be there unconditionally to the conditions, to the state. freedom which is also there when we are insane, and also there when we're absolutely and totally deadpan, normal and conformed. The same freedom. So in the meditation we'll go, I feel, to the freedom aspect of the letting go. It's much easier to allow freedom than it is to let go of an illusion. How do you let go of an illusion? It's an illusion. It's wibbly wobbly. Yes.
I think you really need to be ready to lose something, because we create it, and for us it's truth. If you're ready to lose, you can find the free behind our truth.
Absolutely.
In this moment.
And what would make you able, what would be the conditions you need to be able to be ready to lose something? Why do we hold on? Why do we resist losing?
This is our truth we build.
But why do we resist it?
We build the truth with resistance. If you not resist, there is no truth. There is like nothing. There's freedom. So we need to build something to hold it.
So it makes us feel safe.
Yeah.
So it's really connected with fear and freedom. Yeah. So I'm on the right lines. So the meditation involves a circulation between the center of the head, focus of the head, the mind, the heart, and the physical bases. We move first of all to the center of the head, and this is the paradox that when you move towards the formlessness, the place of silence or the place of clarity, the letting go happens of itself. It's a function of where we put our attention. So in the center of the head, if thoughts are emerging, to move our attention to the silence out of which they emerge. Just moving our attention, it means the thoughts can emerge, but we move our attention to the silence and the silence between the thoughts. There is no such thing as a continuum of thought. There's always silence between one thought and the next. And we put our attention softly, but masterfully. We turn our attention, our gaze from inside our mental universe towards the silence. If images appear from the imagination, there is quite a nice trick, which is to use, and we've all done this as children, the image of a TV screen. So the image is appearing on the screen of our minds. What we can do, and it's just one possibility as a way to relate to imagination, is to turn up the brightness switch. So on a TV screen, when you do that, you turn up the brightness, it gets lighter, 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 lighter until it's just white. Just up the tone of the brightness and let it go like that. It means you don't reject the image, you just turn up the brightness until the image disappears in a kind of white light. So in this we're already in a movement of allowing ourselves to let go of anything that comes forward. We move to the level of the heart chakra, and feel what's happening in the level of being, just being, how it is to be here, being, your being, This is already not about thoughts and not about imagination, it's the feeling quality of how it feels being, your being. Very intimate. Again, if you feel obstruction or energy or emotion or any kind of structures, the image which can help here, the movement which can help, where possible, is to see it like plates of armor. Like armor, on a knight, like plates of armor. And by now it would cover also the mental, and to just drop the battle suit. Like let it fall off, clank, 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 clank. Often it falls off with a clank. Like a snake skin, but the armor is more, because in a way we tend to move around with plates, almost metallic sometimes, of protection. So for now, for this meditation, to let them just plonk off, go to the ground. Then we move to the root chakra and to move our attention to the physical sensations of the body. The air on the face, the temperature, the weight of the body. And here it's a lot easier because the let go is much to allow the same physical matter which is on the chair, on the floor, the same physical dimension which is across the planet, to really just surrender it to the whole of the earth. That the body is elementally made of the same stuff as the whole physical dimension. Gently allow it to lose its illusion of separation on the physical by just relaxing, dropping down into a permission to be also physical right now. Then when it feels right, and if it feels right, there will be a rising of energy back up towards the heart chakra. Here the contemplation is on the freedom that is always here, or to give ourselves the blessing of the feeling of freedom, or to say the words to ourselves from the level of the heart. I am free, and to observe the effect of these words. I am free. And we can continue playing in this way until we reach a place of expansion, of stillness, of silence, of boundlessness, everywhereness, or peace, love, unity.